So it's come to a celebrity gossip video, has it? Today's video is just a shameless grab for views, but before you click off, no, I'm not going to be talking about foreign A-listers like Andrew Tate, Tay Zonday, Gore Gura, and Kanye West. I'm going to be talking about someone even more famous, Matthew Guy. Oh, hang on, that's not a picture of Matthew Guy. That's a picture of famed comedian John Oliver. And oh, wait, actually, sorry, I'm mistaken. That's not a picture of John Oliver. That's a picture of any smarmy Reddit post ever. Easy enough to get the two conflated. Here's a picture of Matthew Guy. Do you recognize him? Do you even know who he is? No, you don't know, because I barely do it. It's my full-time job to know who that man is. He's apparently the leader of the Victorian Liberal Party. Are you as shocked as I was to hear that? I thought it was led by Peter Credlin, with Harvey Yemeni as the Nationals leader. Yeah, bros, I'm gonna be Deputy Premier, stooge. But no, it's led by a far less colourful man, but hey, at least he's got some colourful friends. Because you know what Matthew Guy, apart from being Victorian opposition leader, is most famous for? Formerly being the Victorian opposition leader and losing the 2018 election. Oh, and in 2017 being busted dining on lobster with alleged mafia boss Tony Medaffery. Dining with that guy. Tony Medaffery must have been so embarrassed when he was caught. Forget about lobster with a mobster. What about shellfish with a selfish leader? Patreon link is in the description. But it's not just about dining with Fat Tony. Matthew Guy also attended a Liberal Party fundraiser with the boss, which, come on, how could you even claim to be a half-decent economic manager if you're asking for money from the mob? If Matthew Guy or the Liberals win the next election, don't start complaining when who I'm assuming are the kind people at the State Revenue Office are all replaced with a bunch of wise guys with baseball bats knocking on your door at 1 a.m. I'm here for the money, Matthew Moses. Why doesn't Labor run ads like this?
Do you really want your kneecaps broken? If you still want to walk after November, vote for the dictator. Not because of anything related to the mob joke Jordan just made, but because Daniel Andrews is legitimately a dictator with a secret police that will break your knees if you don't get the jab and vote for him.
To be honest, if Labor did go with that message, it probably wouldn't change anything, because a good chunk of Victorians probably do think that Daniel Andrews is legitimately running that ad anyway, coupled in with the fact that the Liberals' opposition are probably one of the weakest in modern Australian history. This fish is leading the Liberals, and he replaced a guy that apparently was even worse. And you know what? I think it was the right move. I didn't really know much about Matthew Guy, but the whole lobster with a mobster ordeal at least gives you something to remember him for. But when writing this video, I kept forgetting the name of the Liberal leader that Matthew Guy replaced, even after reading it 5 seconds earlier. That's not a joke. Go on, comment if you know his name. Honest answers only. No cheating. For some reason, I kept thinking the leader used to be this wax statue. Sorry, Liberal MP Tim Smith. But then I remembered, oh yeah, he was never leader, and he was retiring this election because he crashed his car drunk. I'm sure it was just the alcohol. Of course, Jordies finds drunk driving on Liberal side funny, but still haven't got to the bottom of Dan Andrews' wife car accident from 10 years ago. Was she deliberately out to hit cyclists and make it look like no one was at fault? How do we even know? It was so long ago. What is Dan Andrews hiding? Was it Dan drink driving? Was Tim Smith's car crash him trying to tell us something in code all along? Probably. But Tim Smith is usually pretty forthright in his assessment of Dan Andrews. The tweet is now deleted, but at one point he tweeted that Dan Andrews was a, quote, friendless loser. Very compelling argument. At least it's an argument. That's more than you got from what's-his-name Fredo. No wonder Tim was touted as a future leader of the party. This psycho was probably the best they had. But he had to throw it all away for a drink. Speaking of drinks, I haven't drank water all day, but if I pissed right now, just right here, right in my pants, a very shallow pool would form around my feet, but still, the Victorian Liberal talent pool would be even shallower than that pool of piss. Watch, I'll demonstrate.
No, don't actually.
Whatever happened to free speech? It's okay for Matthew Guy to died with a mobster, but when I try and do one little piss on the carpet, I'm instantly demonetized. But anyway, the long and the short of it is that the Libs are without a talent pool, and what has that resulted in? Lots of funny things that I'm already in the process of listing, so just weight, but more include claims the Victorian Liberal Party is being infiltrated by a strange Pentecostal church. Liberal members themselves have alleged that members of the City Builders Church are infiltrating the party, with complaints from non-Christian jihadist Liberals leading to an audit of membership, resulting in 150 members being booted. Recently, another document has been circulating. It's been described as a roadmap to good, godly control of the Liberal Party, with reports that it was authored by former federal Liberal candidate Peter Killen. How creepy is this little text right here? Infiltrate, impact, impel. Even though that's very concerning, I'm going to move on quickly, because this isn't the first time a wacko Pentecostalist faction has attempted to infiltrate the Liberal Party. Not just the Liberal Party, mate. AUKUS is next. Can't be f***ed. Also, it seems we're forgetting that the current leader of the Victorian Libs hangs out with mafiosos. It just really demonstrates what a desperate shell of an organisation the Victorian Liberals have become. Calling Dan Andrews a friendless loser, these guys will befriend anyone that gives them money. They're that desperate. One of them literally just got caught using his staffers to pose as punters in campaign ads. Watch this. How pathetic are these ads?
I'm Andy and I'm 22. Like a lot of young people, I care deeply about climate change and integrity. I never thought I'd be voting for the Liberals on those two issues. But here I am, and I'm going to vote Liberal this November. And the reason for that is I met David, my local MP, and I heard his plans. His plan is to legislate a 50% emissions reduction target by 2030. Essentially take the politics out of climate change. Climate change shouldn't be a political issue. It should be a race to how we're going to get there, and how we're going to act, and what policies we're going to implement. I want to see more integrity in government. And David's a man of integrity. He's a man of his word. He's not the classic politician. He's just an everyday guy. And he's got a plan to increase the funding for the Anti-Corruption Commission by $10 million a year and give them more powers. This election, I'm voting for David because he's a man who cares about us and he's our community candidate.
It's at this point in most videos where I'd say, as much as you don't like Dan Andrews, do you really think the Libs are going to be any better? Vote Dan because he's clearly the better choice, especially if you prefer cold, godless dictatorships to Pentecostal mafia theocracies. But honestly, I just feel too bad for this shell of a party. So for the first time in my decade-long career, I'm officially endorsing the Liberals this election. Vote one Liberals in Victoria, because no one deserves to have this hard of a time. Come on, it's like when you throw a game to make your little cousin feel better. I don't usually pay attention to politics because, like Daniel, I always thought politicians were in it for themselves. But this time I realise we have to be in it for them. So please, chuck David Southwick a pity vote. To be clear, I think Dan is miles ahead on not just bread and butter personality issues like not hanging out with Tony Medaffery or not having a chief of staff that attempted to solicit $100,000 from a Liberal donor to his private business. Yeah, that happened to Matthew Guy as well. Dan is just also way better on policy, from promising apprentices free rego, re-establishing a government-owned energy company, a $5,000 sign-on bonus for new nurses and midwives, just like how Turkmenistan gave its citizens free gas. There is an upside to living under a dictatorship. But alas, this election isn't about policy, it's about sending a message. A message to Matthew Guy. And that message is, don't worry, Matt, it's all going to be fine. Just keep your chin up, mate. You've got my vote. I mean, look at this sorry shit. You think Albo was a small target? If that's true, this is Matthew Guy. I'm glad someone's looking out for the little guy. This is what he's running on. Why don't we change the slogan on Victorian number plates to say Victoria, open for business? Great idea. I was getting tired of the current slogan that there is only one God, Daniel Andrews, and PR Gay is his messenger. Anyway, that was a refreshing change of pace. Not used to Labor being this thoroughly shat on by the media and yet still dominating. So quick poll at the end of the video. If you don't like Daniel Andrews, like and share the video to signal that you hate Dictator Dan. And if you do like Daniel Andrews, like and share the video too, because obviously you're a f***ing sheep and you'll do whatever you're told. But remember, it's opposite day in the comments, so anything negative you say about Daniel Andrews actually becomes positive. And anything positive you say about Daniel Andrews becomes double positive. Wow. 2 positive comments. Speaking of 2...
Please share and comment below. Comment.